Hi, I'm here with Squijoo to teach about shadows. I got this background from Squijoo. It's one of the dark wood floor backgrounds. This is my dog Lily, and as you can see, she's already cut out. I'm going to take this shadow off here so we can start from scratch. Alright, so how I make a shadow is I make sure that I'm on the layer behind the subject. So I click on this. And there's many different ways to make shadows, but this is just the way I prefer. Whatever way you feel comfortable, it's up to you. But I go to curves and under adjustments, and I take this little square and I go all the way down. Move that over and make sure I'm clicked into this little white square here, and do Control I. And then I push B for brush. And I want to show you that normally the brush is like this. But since I'm going to be putting the shadow on the floor here, there's a way to do that. You can take this circle here and flatten it like this. And you can also angle it if it's a certain angle that you need. And then I make sure everything's at 100, and I have a soft brush. And you can check the soft right here. And then I'm going to make it big enough where she's sitting right in the middle, because the darkest is going to be in the middle, and then it's going to go out. So I think about here, a little bit less. And I'm going to click. I'm going to click one more time. Then what I do is I go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur, and I have it, usually I say at about 8, but you can adjust to what you like. And then I go over here to Opacity, and I just adjust the opacity about that, and I would call it a day. And I also want to show you this. I just put this in here just to show you some other tips about shadows. So I'm going to move, let's say you have a, this pumpkin right here is already in the picture, but let's say I wanted to add more things and it's going to be touching her. So let's say I put this in front of her like this. That means it already technically has a shadow under here because of what we put. But we're going to go underneath it, which is be on this layer. Do the same thing. First, bring it down. Go in here, Control I, and push B. I'm going to fix my brush. I'm going to put it back to normal. I'm going to resize it. And as you can see, anything that's touching will have a shadow. So only the parts of her I'm going to paint on. I wouldn't do the back leg because it's not really behind here. It's touching this leg. So that's where I would put a shadow. So I would paint it on. And then I would do the same thing, Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur, and then OK. And then I would lower the opacity. And see, there's your shadow. And another tip is I didn't want her to seem like she's up against this background, like where her back is actually touching it. And since she's not touching it and the light's not coming straight on her, I wouldn't put a shadow here. So it depends on where your lighting is. This is a nice even light, but let's say you did want lighting going, have it seem like the lighting's going facing towards her, then you would probably have a light shadow behind here. Also, if you have like let's say a light, you're putting in your own light source and you're coming in from this way, of course you'd have more shadow on this part of it. And then same thing, if it's coming from this way, you would have it shadow more going towards this way. But because in this scene it's a nice even lighting, she's got nice even lighting, I would just put the shadow underneath her, and that would be it. And if anything, if you add more objects and they're touching her, you'd only do it where they're touching her. Not like I said, I wouldn't put a shadow behind here, right here, because that's her back leg and it wouldn't be touching that part. It'd only be touching her front paw here. But if you decided to move it, so let's say if I shut this shadow off, push this, and let's say I moved it back here to this paw, then yes, I would put a shadow right here. And if you want to push this way back, I would put a shadow underneath and put a shadow behind it. But yeah, that's about it with shadows. You don't actually have to, take, oh, she's here, so I got to put a shadow everywhere and stuff. It just depends on which way the light is shining. And like I said, because this is nice and even, I would just put it on the floor here and that'd be it. But yeah, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask.